What up, people? It's the Dub Podcast on I Live for Saturdays, the best college football channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at I Live for Saturdays, 4 as in the number 4. And coaching means everything in college football. In the NFL, in the NBA, professional sports, it's a player's game. It's all about having the better players. And it does, to some degree, in college football, having the better players, but the person that picks the players is the head coach, is coaching. And the person that develops the players are obviously the coaches. Look around in college football. There isn't a single great program that doesn't have an awesome head coach. I'm talking about great. I'm not talking about the good ones. I'm talking about great. Urban Meyer, he came in 2012 at Ohio State. He turned that thing around overnight. They're now considered one of the elite programs in the country, not just winning football games, but producing NFL talent. Chris Peterson at Boise State created a power in Idaho. Now is in Washington and is arguably one of the top 4 teams in the country by a mile. Wrecked Stanford last week. Nick Saban, Alabama was a dumpster fire before he got there. Now he's firing coaches in the SEC left and right. Bobby Petrino, a real, true NFL coach, but he's coaching in college. And he's created an unstoppable offense. Also had the eye to recruit Lamar Jackson. And of course, the new guy in town, my dog, Jim Harbaugh, turned Michigan around overnight. They just beat Rutgers 78-0. Not a lot of coaches in the country could do that even with that talent.
Not doing that with Brady Hope.
Not doing it with that man. Definitely not. And by the way, here's a Big O. Say what's up, Big O.
What's up?
Jim Harbaugh. And when you bring these elite coaches from the NFL that coach in college, Jim Harbaugh is a perfect example of how much coaching means. Almost pretty much the same players Brady Hoke had, but with incredible results. Because what's the new factor? What's the new variable? Jim Harbaugh. It's Jim Harbaugh. Coaching means everything in college football. And if you can find that coach, remember everyone was talking about, oh, Jim Harbaugh isn't worth $7 million, $8 million, $9 million. Don't pay them. Yo, this ain't a salary cap league. You can pay coaches whatever you want. And if today Virginia Tech had the money, I would tell them to pay $15 million for Nick Saban today. Coaching is everything.
Well, yeah. Even this year, you can look at Miami. Last year, yep. Al Golden and now Mark Richt. They're a top 15 team.
Yep. Coaching is everything. Mark Richt's fantastic. Georgia was stupid. And Miami's got a good one. So, that brings me to a new point in the ACC. By the way, Virginia Tech, doing awesome. But in the ACC right now, it is essentially a 3-man or a 3-team race. And they're all in the same division. It's Florida State, it's Clemson, and it's Louisville. And it's kind of an interesting thought. The 3-man race reminds me a lot of La Liga. And if you're a soccer fan or you know a little bit about soccer, La Liga is the Spanish league in Spain. Soccer league, professional league. They have 2 of like the top 5 best teams in the world. Probably top 3, 4-ish in the world. But they also have a third team that's pretty good. And Florida State is Real Madrid. It's a team that has so much talent and probably top 4, and they are actually top 4 most talented team in the country in terms of just getting pure talent. Sit in a great spot, by the way, just like in Madrid, Spain, in talent of their sport. But just cannot really seem to find a coach. And they can win games. They can win games just by walking on the field. But you can get punched in the mouth once in a while. I would say Clemson is Barcelona. They play probably the best football, very unique, very beautiful, very smooth, very organized, and they also have incredible talent. And they also have the best player in their sport, Deshaun Watson. Like Barcelona has Messi. And I would say Louisville is Atletico Madrid, which Atletico is a team that's also kind of like Louisville, has come out of the shadows, has come out of nowhere, out of the woodwork, and become this really awesome team that can beat anyone at any time, anywhere, on any pitch, any day. They've got real talent. They've got an incredible coach, a head man running the show, and probably the best of all the teams. On top of that, having a real, incredibly exciting player, Antoine Griezmann at Atletico and Lamar Jackson at Louisville. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. There's so many similarities with ACC and La Liga. I think that makes it a real exciting league this year. On top of having Miami back and Virginia Tech.
And North Carolina not doing bad either.
And North Carolina not bad at all.
You know, and they're even like some lower teams. They're not. You know, we don't have bad. There's not a lot of like really terrible teams in the ACC this year.
Yep.
Even like kind of the lower teams, they're not too terrible.
So let's get to our bets. The last few weeks we've been doing these bets and we've kept track. And the Big O had a nice little lead. He had a winning record in the first podcast. I had a losing record. But guess what? Guess who caught up? Guess who's in the lead now? What happened, Big O? The O is 5-5. I'm 6-4 now. I caught up last week. I went 4-1. He went, what was it, 2-3? 2-3. So he's even now. I'm up. Leo, what happened with your picks, man?
I think that there was a game that I really just whiffed on last week. Yeah, I didn't expect North Carolina to make that field goal at the last.
It wouldn't matter. They were at 10.5.
Yeah,
they gave him 10.5.
But at least I could have said that the team I picked won. At least I could have said that.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to this week. Let's see if the O
can bounce back.
Can bounce back in a redemption week. And by the way, we're gonna keep that hot streak with Miami because me and the O are 100%. You gotta keep your hot streaks, man. You gotta keep them going. So go ahead, O.
Yeah, I'll take Miami versus UNC. I'll take Miami the 7.5 point favorite, and maybe even won by 10 points.
Yeah, I thought UNC for a long time. This is tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, okay, yeah, I know you say that like Miami's coming off an emotional win. Well, UNC's coming off getting their ass whipped.
Yeah, but I think because they got embarrassed so bad, and Miami was so emotional, I think UNC's gonna be motivated, and Miami's still thinking about Florida State. So you know what? I'm gonna stick with UNC to cover the points. I think it's gonna be a field goal, and I don't know who's gonna win necessarily, but I don't think Miami can win by more than a touchdown. I really don't.
Alabama and Tennessee. Alabama the 12.5 point favorite. I think they win by way more, at least by 3 touchdowns, at the very least. If Tennessee's lucky, they'll lose by 3 touchdowns.
Alabama wins by 25 points. They win by a quarter of 100 points. They're the same team talent-wise, almost the same team talent-wise. Alabama, actually a lot better, to be honest, talent-wise. And they're way better coached. Alabama wrecks Tennessee. They'll be motivated to the rival game.
Colorado versus Arizona State. Once again, like the last game, 12.5 point favorite. I pick Colorado. I think they're a very good team, very underrated in the Pac-12. I think they march on against the Arizona State team that is really nothing too special. You know, pretty average.
Colorado's been the hot little underdog story this year. I'm also picking Colorado because it's 12.5 I think it's a little too much, even though as good as Colorado has been. I think that 12.5 is kind of scary and it's kind of weird. I think someone knows something I don't know. So I'm taking Colorado as well to cover the points and probably win by 2 touchdowns.
Probably the second biggest game of the week, Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Buckeyes 10-point favorite. I think they win by at least 2 touchdowns. I think they cover the points and more.
Wisconsin's defense is underrated. They have a real running game. If they can use the similar game plan Michigan State did last year, they'll keep it close. Wisconsin, I'm taking the points. They'll definitely lose. I think Ohio State just has more talent and is better coached. But I think you cannot disrespect the Badgers. I think they've played fantastic this year, and they cover these points.
All right, and finally, Notre Dame versus Stanford. Notre Dame a 2.5-point favorite over Stanford. I'm gonna pick Stanford in this game. I think Christian McCaffrey has a big game, and Notre Dame can't really stop anyone. So I like Stanford.
This is by far the most interesting bet of the week, because Notre Dame is a 2.5-point favorite over a real team, a top team. But if you break it down, if you really truly break it down, you can see why they're favored, and this is why I'm taking Notre Dame. Last week, Stanford played Washington and got exposed. Yes, their defense is very good, and they could stop most teams. But when it comes to real aerial attacking offenses, Stanford really, really struggles. And Deshaun Kaiser is arguably the best quarterback that they will play all season. Actually, by far the best quarterback that they will play all season. On top of that, their offense really isn't special. Besides their offensive line and McCaffrey lining up in the power O, I don't see why Stanford's offense is so amazing. They were exposed last week against Washington. Washington's great, but Stanford can't really move the ball. Notre Dame can put points up in the board. Stanford can't really move the ball. I take Notre Dame to cover the points, 2.5. All right, so this has been the Dub Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at @ILiveForSaturdays, 4 as in the number 4. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, sign off, man. Peace.